Mike Harris,
All
back
right.
on the beginning, brother. Take it from the top.
All right, here we go again, man. Mike Harris, man. I've played ball for 19 years. I played over in Ukraine, Puerto Rico. Played a lot of multiple years in China, um, Korea, Thailand, Bahrain, Qatar. Played 4.5 years in the NBA with the Rockets and the Jazz and the Wizards. And I'm by no means a financial advisor. I've learned a lot from vets and people that have been in the business world over the past few years, and we are just trying to grow as a community, especially of athletes, to get ourselves prepared for the future. Sometimes we wait, and I waited. I was a little bit late on the things that I needed to get started, and I got that started the later part of my career. And so right now our focus is to grow and share this knowledge and get our plan B started before our plan A ends. Most businesses don't start out in the first year in the green. Usually it's about 2 years. So if you start something while you've already got your main job going, you've got time to work along that correction and progress, and get everything to the level that it needs to get to. We are talking about an LLC. That is one that, I started with my business as a limited liability corporation. For me, an LLC, it can be done through my personal taxes, but I'm not liable at fault. People can't come after me directly in that LLC, and that was a huge thing. I recommend that people start a business as an athlete, especially as early as you possibly can. Figure out something else that you like, something else that you want to do, and get it started in advance. The biggest thing that I think we struggle with as athletes when we come back to the States, I know me and even the guys that are on the call, we can attest to, is when we come back and we want to get a house. It's hard to get a house when your job is year to year. Doesn't mean that you won't get a job, especially if you're a player that's playing at a high level. You're going to keep getting jobs. But basketball contracts, there aren't any or too many 2-year or 3-year deals now, especially now in today's world, because so many people are dropping off that second year. They're not playing well. So they hurt the people that are being consistent or improving over the course of time. So, an LLC or starting your own business is a way to get yourself prepared for when you get back. You don't have the worry of, my first year coming back trying to get a house. The first thing they asked for was, my pay stubs, my my taxes. Where's your W-2? And at that time, my very first one, I had money in the bank that could cover the price of the house, and it didn't matter. And so, I played basketball from September all the way through to April. And then I would jump into another job from April until July. So the month of August is the time where me and my family would take off and do some things. And then I would start back up again in September. And that didn't matter. For the month of August, I couldn't show pay. So I had to go put down twice as much and get a higher interest rate on the house, which if I would already have my business set up and established, I wouldn't have had to go through those worries. It was the same thing with the vehicle. I could pay the vehicle off, or I had to put down way more money, also get a higher interest rate, because I just didn't have credit. I didn't have terrible credit. I just didn't have any. So this call is just, it's more information. I keep continuing to speak on credit. It'll come into this call. But an LLC, the main way to set it up is to either get with an attorney or to go to legalzoom.com, and it will walk you through the step-by-step process of setting up an LLC, choosing your name, choosing whether it is member managed, or if you're going to create a board of directors. So you could create a board and say, you know, 3 or 4 people are on here, and they're going to make they're going to make the decisions. Um, for me, mine is member managed. There's a business that I'm very efficient with. I do training, so I started a training business. We also have a trucking business as well, and I do some real estate. So um, the best way I would tell everyone to do their own research and decide what's best for you. If you want to be extremely detailed and have the control, then you can do member manage. If you don't fully understand that, then get with some people that do. Make sure you have a team of people in place to make sure that you're going to be able to be successful. I've gotten really big into books. Books have given me tons of knowledge. I use Audibles. It's hard for me to sit and read for a long time because I'm always on the go. So I will put my headphone in, and while I'm driving, I'm listening to an Audible. Even when I'm in the weight room working out, or I'm listening to an Audible. If I'm waiting on some kids to train, I'm listening to an Audible. The most recent one that I really love is called The Wealthy Barber, and it broke down just paying yourself first, understanding business, understanding capital gains tax with housing, mutual funds, ETFs, teaching yourself to learn and not just delegate. We want to just, hey, look, you're my financial advisor. I pay you to make all my decisions. And I think we've seen so many scams where financial advisors have taken money and ran away with money, or gotten athletes to invest in stuff and taken away, and people have lost tons of money. The biggest thing I would tell people is don't put all your money in one spot. Don't give all your money to a financial advisor to invest it. Do your own research, invest in some stuff. And you may not be 100% successful, but if you look back 15 years on certain things, on stocks or, mutual funds, look at its track record over 15 years. If it's got a steady flow or a great increase over the course of that time, it's a good one to invest into, and then see if the person that's working that fund is still there. You don't want to jump into a fund that's doing great, and now the person that was working that's gone, and it's got a new person in there. It's not guaranteeing that it's going to continue to progress the same way that it is. So, we just have to do research. And the best thing about playing ball overseas is when you're done with practice, if you're not going around touring, the town or the country, you're sitting in the room. So we have so much downtime that we can level up. And when we come back here, we could be so far ahead. And, in the beginning, I used to just go back to the room and play video games. And starting that, I could have been building that up the entire time I was there. I bought purses and stuff back and did parties for selling different things. And my money should have been going right into the LLC, growing that business, elevating, leveling that business up. I just didn't have any idea. So step one, I would tell everyone, step one is to open your own business, whether it's an LLC, an S Corp, which we'll talk about on the next call, a C Corp, a sole prop, but start your own business. Go to LegalZoom if you don't already have an attorney, and just go through the steps and open up your business. Figure out the name that you want to call it. They will search the database for you. You can also type in Google and see, if that name is already taken. So, if you want to call it basketball cones ventures, and then you go type it in, and if something's there, then it'll also give you options for other alternatives that are not already taken. So you take that, you start your LLC. Once you do that, in the mail, you will receive letters from the Secretary of State, and you will get a EIN number. That EIN number is the number that you will take, and you will use that EIN number to open your business account. It usually, with an attorney, it goes a little bit faster. Through LegalZoom, they have an express service also. It costs a little bit more, and they'll expedite it. It really depends on the state that you're in. Some states, they get it done a lot quicker because the business isn't as heavy. In Texas, it takes a few weeks because businesses are opening left and right in Texas. And, you have a company in Idaho, you can walk in and get your LLC in a day. But just, it opens a lot, it opens a lot quicker. So after you get that, you would then start your business bank account. Your business bank account, you can go to any bank, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. Those aren't necessarily the best business banks. Some of them have a little bit more of a fee. And, even on withdrawals and things like that, they have a monthly fee. If you look up online, you can go to Google and type in 10 best businesses, 10 best banks for startup businesses, and you will see a lot of online banks. The biggest thing with those is you can't walk in and just manually deposit because a lot of them don't have locations like that. So you may have to go to certain places to do it, or you have to do a wire transfer, or you can do a check through the mobile app. But the perks of those businesses sometimes are a little bit higher. The one I have with one of my businesses, it gives 2.5% back every month if I'm over $1,000 spending. And so as long as you're over that, you're going to get 2.5% back into your account on those purchases. So there are a lot of perks. Once again, I tell everyone, do your own research on which bank is best for your business. Business is something that you want to get into and that you're passionate about. So I know I am really passionate about training. So that was an easy one. I love to deal with camps and elevation. So it was easy for me back in 2006 to partner up with a close friend of mine and start some camps. And now, here we are in 2023. Those camps are doing really well. That company's doing really well. We just, did a partnership with Nike, and it's doing really well in Idaho. So it's you want to invest in stuff that you really are passionate about. You're going to continue to do the work, and that's where you're going to have a chance to be successful. You're going to hit a roadblock. At some point in time, all businesses hit a roadblock. Nothing starts out great. But if it's something you're passionate about, you learn from those mistakes. Once again, this is your plan B. Your plan A is still going, so you're able to recover. The next step after you open the business bank account would be the credit. After you open a business bank account, you started to deposit money in there. If you do not have credit yet, if you don't have credit at all, then it's time to establish credit. If you've never had a credit card a day in your life, there are places that will practically approve you right away. Best Buy, Best Buy in particular will almost approve anybody for anything. It's a great way to start a card. Another way is a secured card. So you can go to Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America. I know those branches in particular. It's always what I've recommended to, some of the kids and collegiate guys that I've trained. And you take $500 or $1,000. You say, hey, I want to start a secured card. That secured card is basically leveraged against your money. So you go and you want to start a secured card with $1,000. You now have a credit card with $1,000. It takes your $1,000, it opens that account. That is a credit card. So going forward, you use that credit card for your purchases. You make your monthly payments. It reports to the 3 credit bureaus, and you're establishing credit. If you want to increase it, then you've got to pay it off, and you add more money to that card. Hey, now in 3 months, I would like to increase that limit to $2,000 or $3,000. And it continues to increase that limit. Credit is about history. So in the beginning, in your first year, your credit score is going to drop. But after 7, that original card, you still should not close it because that is your longest credit history. So you want to continue to keep that card. Maybe you don't use it as much, but you want to continue to keep that card to continue to build that credit history and just make a couple of purchases. Once you've established a solid credit, you also want to get a business credit card underneath your business. Once again, you must do your own research. The business credit card, the first credit card that you get, if you already have credit or after you've established credit, it's going to come from your personal credit score. That's why having credit is extremely important, because you don't have any business credit. So the first time you apply for a business credit card, it's going to pull from your personal credit score. It's not going to deduct and drop the points that it does when you pull for a personal credit card, but it's going to deduct, it's going to use your actual credit score. So if you're at say a 640 or 650, then your business credit card may be $800 or $1,000. If you've got a credit score of 740, your business credit card will be for $10,000. So establishing that credit, it's going to elevate you in your business as well. This game it's a game of leverage. And it's just that, once again, it's not that we can't do it. It's just that we don't know. Once you establish that business credit and you got your credit cards going for your business, you figured out what business you want to do. Anyone that's playing overseas, you definitely need to deposit. You can deposit even before you establish the credit. Deposit money into your business account. Deposit money into your business account. There is a company that is called Paychecks. In order to start establishing W-2s and taxes, Paychecks makes it extremely easy for anyone starting a business. I mean, extremely easy. They take out all of your state taxes, your federal taxes. They take out everything that you need done, so that you just got to give the papers at the end of the year to your tax advisor. If your tax advisor works with that company, they will send it directly. So you do not have the headache. So if I'm overseas in September and I want to get a house in 2 years, I open my LLC. Let's say I called it Harris Enterprises. I would deposit $10,000 into my account. And every month I am going to deposit into my account, and I am going to pay myself $5,000 a month out of that account. So I would contact Paychecks. Hey, this is my business account. You give them your information, you set up, you read through the terms in the agreement, you just understand the disclosures. Understand, if you do not, ask questions, research, talk to people, but make sure that you always read the fine print. We get a lot of stuff where we just skim through, we check the box, go down to the bottom and accept, and have no idea what we're signing. There's credit cards that give you a high approval with a crazy interest rate, but because we want a black card, we go and we take that. One time we get into a bind, next thing you know, we spent $9,000 and we did not know the interest on that $9,000 going to a party, or you go to something in Vegas and your friend card gets stolen or it's blocked and they need you to pay for their bill. And now you got a hit on a $9,000 purchase and your payment is $13,000 and you had no idea why. Are you serious? So make sure you always read the fine print of every single thing that you sign. So we contact Paychecks. Hey, Paychecks, I would like to deduct $5,000 every month to pay myself. Are you going to pay yourself weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? They will ask you. You decide the ways that you want to set up. You're overseas. Hey, I would like to get paid every month. Okay, do you want $5,000 in total, or you want $5,000 going to your account where the taxes are after that $5,000? Do you want $5,000 exact, or you want taxed on the $5,000? You have to decide what amount you want going into the account for you. Once you set that up, Paychecks will start whichever day you want them to start, and they will start paying you. They will do direct deposit, however you want it set up. They will direct deposit into your business account. And then you set up from your business account to pay to your personal account. So they'll help you with your business account. They will deduct that $5,000. Will take all the taxes out every single month if you do monthly or biweekly, and that they will automatically deposit into your personal account for you every month. So you do that for a full year. You're depositing $10,000 and you're taking out $5,000 every month. So in October, you have $5,000 balance left. You deposit 10. Now you have 15 in there. Now they take out 5. And then in November, you deposit another 10,000, take out 5. Now you have 15. So you are getting money deducted to your personal account from your business account, and you're also growing your business account as well. Now you have your business credit card that you use for your purchases. You're overseas. All credit cards work overseas. Do your own research. You go to dinner, you swipe your credit card. End of the month, you make your payments on your credit card. You're building your business credit. You make your monthly payments. You remember there's a statement, there's a statement date with your credit card. So your statement date, your due date comes before your statement date. So your due date could be on the 12th. You make your payment, you have a $10,000 credit card limit, and you make your payment, say you spent $8,000, and you make your payment on the 12th. And so you pay it down to where it's $1,000 left. That was your due date. Your statement date is, say, on the 17th. On the 14th, you go spend another $5,000. Well, on your statement date, now your balance is the 1,000 plus the 5,000. It's 6,000 because you started spending money on your credit card before the statement date. Once again, that's why we have to research. Your due date that you make your payment isn't the date that it reports to the credit bureaus. So you have both of those dates, that information is given on there. So you have to know when they report to the credit bureaus. And if you don't, just call your credit card and they'll tell you, hey, which days do you report? Hey, we report at the end of the month. So you've got to know when they report, and you can't allow your balance, even if you get an emergency, because now that's going to affect your credit score. That's not going to benefit you. Once you start to pay yourself, you're building that history with those paychecks. You go all the way around to the month of July. You played overseas from September to July. You've been paying yourself every single month. At the end of that first year, your taxes are going to be up, and your Paychecks company is going to talk to you or your financial advisor, and they're going to send you your paperwork to do your taxes for that first year. Remember, you said you're going to buy a house in 2 years. So you've got 1 year now of paying yourself in your business. You started in September, so you only have a few months in that growth right there, but you just started this business and it's established. It's going. The month of July, all the way from January to July, you are paying yourself. The month of August, you did not work. Guess what? You have the money in your account because you were depositing $10,000 a month every month. So in the month of August, even when you don't work, you're paying yourself from your business to your personal. So you're still getting everything on time. You go back the next year in September, you go all the way through again. You get your tax papers at the end of the year, just like before. At the end of July, you say, hey, in the month of August this year, we're going to buy a house. You go to buy a house and they ask for your W-2s. You started this business only less than 2 years ago, but now you have W-2s. They see the consistency. You are starting at that company. You also have your business information. You put your house underneath your business. Some people don't want to. They want to put it under their personal. But you can put your house now under your business because you've established business credit. And now you have all of the W-2s and the paperwork you need to go to any bank, get approved for a loan. You have a great credit score. You can show W-2s, which we can't show being overseas. But now Paychex has made it extremely easy for you to show your W-2s at the end of the year. All you got to do is call your financial advisor, hey, or your tax attorney. Hey, look, can I get my W-2s? I'm about to go purchase a house. Yeah, sure. Here, I'll email it to you. And you just get it right over to the bank. They see now that every month, no matter what, you're taking out your taxes are being paid, and you're established enough to start your house journey. It's an extremely powerful tool that we just don't know. It's not something that is overly complicated. It's just that we don't know. To set up an LLC, somewhere between $300 and maybe $600 if you decide to expedite it, even with an attorney. It doesn't take much to establish. If you're in a different state and you don't have legal Zoom or Zen, then you can also just look up, attorneys, business attorneys, and you can get it set up through them. But it's not that expensive. You can do it by yourself. Anything that you don't know what the terminology means, type it in Google. Google answers every question. YouTube gives you all the information. It gives you step-by-step information. And you're able to start your business and establish your business while your plan A is going, and set yourself up to be a lot more successful. The taxes that are covered in that business and at the end of every single year, you will not have to hassle or deal with if you get with a company like Paychex. Paychex isn't the only company out there that does it. It's the one that I was recommended, and I know how easy it is. And I also know the benefits of having that and not having to do it myself. It's a lot easier for me and beneficial to have someone else do it. Underneath your business, there are so many things that you can write off or you can take advantage of even while you're overseas. You go to dinner right now. Underneath my business, I'm overseas. Say I'm in France and I go eat at a restaurant, and my business is, let's say it's Harris Enterprises. Well, in this business, I needed to eat, so I swiped with that card. That card right now, that meal is a write-off. I need to get gas. I need to get gas to go, to the gym or to the store. I swipe with my business card. That is a write-off. So there's so many implications. There's so many things that we can take advantage of underneath the business: food, gas, clothing, that we weren't aware of, that we could put underneath our business that would save us tons of money once we got back home. This is also open-ended. So any of you guys, if you got questions, man, you can ask away.
First of all, thank you, Mike. That was great information. Greatly appreciated. Second of all is, so if you every bank is looking for 2 years of credit statements, correct? Or of W-2s. Nobody's going to go, banks will not allow you to have more. If you have a year of established credit, they're not going to go for that for the loan, correct?
It depends on what bank you're with. And if you know somebody. So my first year when I came back, I wanted to get a Chrysler 300, and I went to go get the car, and my agent knew a person that worked at, I think it was Huntington Bank, but it was up in Iowa. And so we talked, but when I got to the dealership, there was a used one that only had 4,000 or 5,000 miles on it. So I put more money down. And then when I wanted to get the house, I got a higher interest rate, and they worked with the contracts. So they worked with the contracts, and that's what helped me to get it. So with 1 year, if it's sometimes smaller banks they won't pass on that business. They'll just put you through a lot of loopholes. You may have to get a guaranteed letter, or you you start your business in that year and you show, hey, look, I'm with this company. It's your company. And you show that you just signed a 5-year deal with that company. So now sometimes you can get approved based off of future, but at the end of the day, you're the boss of that company. So you want to get the house under your personal. You started your business. Say you started Mike's Journals LLC, and you write a contract with them, and you're getting paid, say, $8,000 a month underneath from that company. You've only got 1 year of history, but you also bring in that you signed a 5-year contract. So your attorney draws that you're locked in for 5 years with this company. We know at $8,000 a month, and then you prepare your debt to income ratio page. And so you're showing all your bills and your monthly expenses, and you're showing that. So there are some banks that will just make you do a little bit extra work. Mostly a lot of, credit unions, a lot of smaller banks, you can get away sometimes with showing, hey, look, 1 year of statements. This is my monthly payments. If this is the monthly payments, this is what I can make every single month. And then they'll look at your bank statements and see that money is going in, and what you have in your bank account from your business, and that can get you approved. So if you were getting $8,000 a month and your expenses were $2,500 every single month, so you're putting $55,000 away. These are all my expenses. So if I got a note on the house for $2,000, I'm showing you I can cover that. So with that 1 year of credit, that 1 year of history with a good credit score, and you've got a 5-year contract at this company, no matter what, you can be okay at the right bank. Once again, so it really depends. Most of the bigger banks, it is a lot harder, but like I say, I didn't have credit my first few coming out. I didn't. And so I had to put down a little bit more, and then we prepared everything that we need prepared, and they helped me. And this was before they just helped me, but I had to put down a lot more money. I kept that house until last year. So that house ended up becoming a huge asset to me, and being able to, leverage that once I moved into our new home, and, rent that out and make that a rental property. And, the capital gains on that once you're married was a huge benefit as well. So, it was something that actually benefited me a significant amount of getting that house early. You get your first house, or you get your house in your 30s, even if it's your forever home, and you get it underneath your business, you are setting yourself up to grow to another level in business, and just in the business in general. So, hey, I get my house, I put it underneath my business. You're making those monthly payments. Your business credit is growing. Now you can turn around and get ready to use that to get a rental property and start having other people, pay you. There's also PMI insurance that will help you on an approval on a PMI insurance. It's a backing insurance on other loans. So you've got an FHA loan, and then you can also find some banks that will work with PMI insurance where you've got to put down less money. But a PMI insurance, you pay an insurance premium, so that in the case that you lose a job or something, that insurance premium just secures them that they're going to continue to get their monthly payments. So that is something else I would also tell people to look into is PMI insurance, because that's another way that you can also, some banks work with that to where, hey, look, I've only got 1 year, but I'm going to give you the 20 or 25% down, but I will also purchase PMI insurance for that security. So you have my guaranteed contract for 5 years, but you also have a backing in this PMI insurance that I'm going to pay every month. And it's not that expensive. It's just the security. And in case something happens, then they're going to continue to make sure that they get their payment. And then you've got to continue to pay the PMI insurance. There's so many tricks of the trade, and we just like I said, we don't we don't know, man. We don't know. And, you know, the first thing that really helped me was to listen to an audible. It was to listen. It was to listen to an audible. And I think the first one, I really didn't even pay attention to it. I had to listen to it 2 times. The first time it was there, but I wasn't locked in on the words that were being said. And I just didn't get it. It was like a 5-hour audible, and I listened to it. I was outside working, and after it finished, I was like, man, I completed my first audible, but what the hell was it talking about? And then I talked to, to some guys that were into investing. A friend introduced me to them. They were into heavy investing, and he was like, man, do you read? And I was like, a little bit, man, not really too much, man. If I sit still for a long time, I get a little bored, I get a little antsy. So I'm gonna give you like 4 or 5 pages. He was like, man, do you listen to audibles? I was like, yeah, I listened to one. He was like, what was the name of it? I don't remember. He was like, so you didn't listen to it? I was like, man, I just, I tried. He was like, man, listen to it. Find something that is, that's interesting. I was like, well, for me, business. He was like, what kind of business? Real estate. Okay. Here, read this. He was like, go to Robert Kiyosaki. And so after that, I got books and I started listening, and it really changed my life. The first one was, man, I gotta scroll so far. It was the second.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the second one. It was The Richest Man in Babylon. That was the first book that they rep. And it was an old book. It's talking about gold, and it was really back in the Babylon days. And then I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so those two right there, those really changed my thought process. And after that, it was Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And Thinking Fast and Slow is a book that you may have to listen to twice, because it's very you have to process, you have to pause, play. I recorded notes, and so I started to record notes on everything. And, after that, I started going through books left and right, and I started learning more, which made me want to research more. The biggest one that has impacted me lately is The Wealthy Barber. My wife found that one from someone, and it spoke just on where to put your money. Once you pay yourself, once you get paid 10%, put it away. Put it away right away. The first thing you do is pay yourself. And I didn't understand it. You're not going to miss it. If your bills are totaling out to $2,500 and you're paying yourself $5,000, and at the end of every month, you have only $100 in your account. Say you're buying food, y'all don't cook, you go out to eat, you got your gas, y'all like to go to events and everything. So you're only keeping $100 in your account. As soon as your 5,000 hits your account, 10%, take it, invest it. And you want to continue to live the way you're living. You want to continue to do everything else. That $500 out of that 5,000, you will not miss it. And most people are like, no, I need it. You will be surprised that you will not miss that $500. But putting away 10% every single check will change your life. It'll change your life. That is a small one. Continuing just to live the way you are, putting away 10% every single month into something that is going to continue to grow and elevate. It will change. It'll change your life. And so that right there, it started to help me elevate with understanding mutual funds, ETFs, and you have your stocks and crypto, and you got your IRA, and you have for me you have a 401k. And so the NBA blessed me with a great 401k plan. It's phenomenal. And so if if you don't have a business or you're not working for a company, you can't even really get the benefits of a 401k. You gotta figure out, something else. So, and like I say, IRAs are good. You got a traditional Roth, which we will talk about, but the company paychecks, they help me enroll into a 401k plan as well. So every month, I also have money going into that 401k, which turns around at the end. I don't have to touch that money, not being taxed on it. Once it's time to withdraw from that, at that age, that money will go to my kids. It's already set up and taken care of. But the Wealthy Barber broke down that part of the game for me. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and The Richest Guy in Babylon. Those were the ones that I started that helped me understand money and to leverage. There's also power in negotiation. You're going to go and start your business with flipping houses. You go to an auction, you get a house, or, you see a house and, it's at $70,000. You got your construction guy. He goes and looks, hey, we're going to need to put around $15,000 worth of work in it. Your realtor comes in, hey, look, if you do this, this, and this, it's going to be worth 130. You see the profit. You see the $20,000, $30,000 profit after commission. You're like, okay, this is worth it. They want 70,000. You go and you cut a check for 55, you'll probably get it. You'll probably get it just because it's the power of in your face, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it helped me with, my side business for cars. There is so much power in negotiating, and in our trucking business, we ended up finding a reefer for one of the trucks, and a guy had 4 reefers, and one of the guys ended up having a heart attack, so he stopped using trucks. He stopped using that one. He was like, man, it's just sitting there. We're going to sell it. He was like, okay. He went over and he was like, man, he's selling it for 15,000. And I literally finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad probably like 2 or 3 months before that. And I was like, hey, bro, go over there with 8,000. Go take 10 total, but have 8,000. Put the other 2 in another pocket. He was like, what? I was like, go over there, offer him 8,000. He was like, nah, man. He's like, man, he's going to feel disrespected. No, he won't. Go over there and he's going to come back with something. He went over, he hit him with 8,000. The guy said no. He said, man, I can't do that. He was like, I can do 13.5. And he was like, bro, man, let me check and see. He's like, man, we don't have money in the account like that. Look, bro, the best we can do is 10 grand. Poured out the 10 grand. We signed, we took the reefer. we got the reefer. Like, didn't even argue and negotiate anymore. Like, hey man, like there was just power. And I'm not saying that that's going to work on every single thing that you do, but there is power. We ended up purchasing a great truck. We ended up getting a reefer. Our broker works in produce. That truck's able to get on the road and make money right away. Whereas, it's going to be hard to find a really good reefer for $10,000. So, there's so much power in books that, like I said, I would have never thought of that. I've always negotiated for stuff like in China and stuff like that, but there's power with a cashier's check in front of you or someone putting cash in front of you negotiating and you see it. It makes people a tendency to pull. I don't want to pass this up, over this opportunity right now. I know I have this and they're thinking what they're going to do with the money right away.
Nice. Love that. That's all great, man. Well, Mike, I think we've been in it for like an hour now.
This next one, we'll discuss a couple of the other business entities, the S Corp, the C Corp, just kind of understanding them. We're figuring out which one, but I started with LLC because I figure most athletes, that is probably the best to open up. Having a
Definitely
staff,
the quickest.
It's the quickest. Definitely the quickest. And you can start getting it going. But I tell Eric, paychecks, man, paychecks, PMI insurance, if you don't have it, I recommend jumping on both of those after you get your business. But that PMI insurance, it helps a lot of people if you find the right bank. I say smaller, credit unions or smaller, smaller mom and pop banks is what we call them. They want that business.
They
Want
need it.
that business. So
And especially now, like with the interest rates going crazy there and other banks, everything.
Yeah. So yeah, look at those first. And I say you can call and probably ask most of them, because for a banker, that sale is big. They'll talk to people in underwriting, and they will definitely try to get it approved. Here in Houston, I got a guy that I know that he'll do everything he can to try to get a loan approved for people. So they will work loopholes and try to make sure that they got everything set up to get you approved.
Nice. All right, perfect. Well, I appreciate it, Mike. I hope you have a great day and don't got to deal with goats anymore.
Oh man, no goats right now. I do have to go feed the chickens. It's early, and I know they ready to go. I got to go feed the chickens and the rabbits. That's
all right, sir. Well, go have a great rest of your Sunday, and appreciate it. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.